Watching Nightline with me, Azaria Tagaya. News making the headlines. Transport Ministry to conduct thorough review of Road Transport Act 1987. And Malaysia to remain close to both China and the US. Good morning. Anthony Loke Siew Fook said his ministry will initiate a detailed assessment of the Road Transport Act 1987. The Transport Minister was commenting on the recent Penang Bridge fatal crash involving an unlicensed underage driver, which killed a motorcyclist and his female pillion rider. It was learnt that the lowest fine for driving without a licence under the Road Transport Act 1987 is set at 300 ringgit with a maximum of up to 2,000 ringgit. The minister said a thorough review will be carried out not only on that particular clause, but the overall Road Transport Act has to be reviewed on other aspects as well. About formulating a law to penalise owners of vehicles driven by underage individuals, Loke conveyed that his ministry would scrutinise the matter closely. He also said his ministry will get more feedback from the public and also from non-governmental organisations, NGOs, on any further review of the Act. The November 11th Penang Bridge accident involved 3 vehicles, a motorcycle, a car and a lorry. The male motorcyclist and the female pillion rider, both in their 20s, died on the spot. The teenager sustained minor injuries while the male lorry driver escaped unhurt. Initial investigations revealed the crash happened when the car heading towards the mainland from the island is believed to have rear-ended the lorry, causing it to lose control. The car then crashed into the motorcycle, causing the motorcyclist and the pillion rider to be thrown off the machine and succumb to their injuries at the scene. The teen driver, who is still in school, is believed to have driven his mother's car. He was returning home to Bukit Mertajam after meeting a friend on the island. Malaysia is not tilting towards China, but geographically the country is closer, a reliable friend and ally. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the United States is equally important and a traditional ally, as well as a major investor that has helped propel Malaysia's economy. Anwar was speaking at a question and answer session at the University of California, Berkeley in San Francisco on Tuesday. He said cumulatively the United States stands as #1 in terms of Malaysia's total investments. But increasingly, China has become one of the major investors. They may invest in Malaysia.
As strategic competition intensifies between the United States and China, Malaysia approaches relations with both pragmatically and judiciously. We will work with ASEAN to minimize risks, namely outright conflict or the bifurcation of the global economy into rigid blocks. Neither seems likely soon, but both have become plausible under today's mounting pressure.
Anwar added that Malaysia, as a developing and emerging economy, needs to engage and decide what is best for the country.
Engaging both major powers provides us with more strategic space to advance our national interests. To my mind, this mantra applies across the board for Southeast Asia, although there will be shades of differentiation in the details.
On Malaysia and more broadly ASEAN's role in the South China Sea, Anwar, who is in San Francisco for the 30th APEC Economic Leaders meeting, said ASEAN did discuss its position. The Prime Minister stressed that ideally Malaysia should take a multilateral regional position in the engagement with China. Asked about the possible outcome of the bilateral meeting with President Joe Biden and China's Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the meeting, Anwar said it cannot be dismissed as a normal sort of discourse. Now, speaking on the humanitarian crisis in Palestine, the Prime Minister said it is poised to affect not just Palestine or the broader West Asia, but also leave an imprint on global relations for many years to come. According to Anwar, Malaysia has consistently called for a ceasefire and a stop to the incessant bombing of Gaza. The Prime Minister said that Malaysia views this as a humanitarian crisis precipitated by a brutal and indiscriminate war.
Malaysia views this as a humanitarian crisis precipitated by brutal and indiscriminate war. Ultimately, this is is not about which God we pray to. After all, the more than 11,000 victims in Gaza comprise Muslims and Christians, as well as nationalities of various countries. This is about preventing more death, more suffering, and more hate.
Anwar also reiterated Malaysia's stance in condemning terrorism in all its forms and categorically condemns the act of killing innocent lives and taking women and children as hostages, describing it as a blatant violation of international law. Tuition fees for more than 600 Palestinian students studying at public universities in Malaysia will be waived for 1 year with immediate effect. Higher Education Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said that his ministry will also hold talks with private universities to waive the fees for more than 200 Palestinian students studying at these institutions for 1 year. He said the ministry was also considering providing monthly allowances to all 800 Palestinian students, both in public and private universities in Malaysia for the same period, which would cost about 20 million ringgit. Muhammad Khalid said details on the tuition fee waiver and monthly allowances would be announced soon, which will include the exact amount for these initiatives. He said that this is in the final stages. The minister stressed that his ministry was concerned over the challenges faced by the Palestinian students. He said they were among those who are directly affected by what is happening in the country, adding that they may no longer be able to receive financial support from their family or sponsors. The Health Ministry is preparing its response to the recommendations by the Public Accounts Committee PAC on the COVID-19 Outbreak Management Report, including on the ventilator issue. Its Minister, Dr. Zaliha Mustafa, said that it would be submitted to the PAC next month.
Kita telah memberikan semua kerjasama kepada PAC dalam mereka meminta kepada kita maklumat tentang perkara yang berkaitan dengan concern PAC itu telah kita beri sepenuh kerjasama. Jadi selebihnya kalau misalnya ada lagi yang diperlukan oleh PAC, kami bersedialah untuk memberi segala maklumat yang diperlukan, insya-Allah.
Dr. Zaliha said this at a media conference after opening the ministry's Integrity Day and Corruption-Free Pledge in Putrajaya on Wednesday. On Tuesday, PAC Chairman Datuk Mas Ermiati Samsudin said PAC had sent a letter to the Health Ministry to respond to its recommendations of the COVID-19 Outbreak Management Report, which includes expired vaccines, faulty ventilators and surplus personal protective equipment PPE that was published on October 30th. The PAC report revealed that there was no contract or agreement drawn up between the Health Ministry and Farmaniaga Logistics Sendirian Berhad on the procurement of ventilators during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. 97.7% of the 5,177 issues listed in the Auditor-Generals Report 2022 have been resolved. Auditor-General Datuk Wan Suraya Wan Muhammad Razi said her office will attempt to ensure that the remaining 2.3%, involving 117 issues, can be resolved through effective monitoring.
I'm talking about whatever that is relevant, impacting all the relevant ministries in the government department, as well as their subsidiaries, as well as the government companies that are also involved. Yeah, so, as I mentioned, this is about governance, it's about ensuring that everything is monitored.
Wan Suraya also highlighted that these developments will be regularly presented to the Cabinet for further action. She also said that her office has outlined plans to implement a new format structure to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of addressing emerging issues. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has lodged a police report over a video posted on social media allegedly containing false allegations made by a politician at the launch of the party's machinery for the Kemaman parliamentary by-election. This after a video of the speech recently made the rounds on social media. In a statement, the MACC said Terengganu Bersatu Chief Datuk Razali Idris made several false allegations in his speech during the event on November 10th, as seen in a video of the speech that was posted to TikTok. He had stated that the government machinery, the MACC and judges are controlled by the government. Razali was also heard questioning the High Court's verdict regarding the case of former Youth and Sports Minister Syed Sadiq Syed Abdul Rahman. In the statement, the MACC said Razali Ali's claims were both slanderous and defamatory. Such claims could erode the public's confidence in the authorities. It went on to express hope that immediate action would be taken against those who slandered the commission. The federal court has affirmed Tan Sri Abdul Hadi Awang as the Marang parliamentary representative after it dismissed an appeal by a Barisan Nasional candidate to nullify the past president's 15th general election result. A federal court three-member panel unanimously ruled against the petitioner Jasmira Othman in his bid to unseat Abdul Hadi after finding Jasmira had failed to prove the petition beyond reasonable doubt that voter inducement had taken place. The three-member panel was led by President of the Court of Appeal Tan Sri Abang Iskandar Abang Hashim, together with federal court judges Datuk Rosariah Bujang and Datuk Zabariah Muhammad Yusof. Abang Iskandar said the petitioner failed to prove and establish the principle of agency over the appointment of several Terengganu state excos by Abdul Hadi to distribute financial aid from the state government a few days before GE15 in the constituency. The election court had previously nullified the election results for both the Kemaman and Kuala Terengganu seats after accepting allegations that there had been bribery in several official events of the Terengganu state government through the distribution of iBelia and iSiswa aid funds to voters during the GE15 campaign period. Among the points raised in the petition were allegations that PAS had bribed voters by distributing financial aid from the state government through the iPension, iBelia and iStudent initiatives. In GE15, Abdul Hadi retained the Marang seat with a majority of 41,729 votes, defeating three other candidates, namely Jasmira, Azhar Abdul Syukur of Pakatan Harapan and Zarawi Sulong of Parti Pejuang Tanah Air. Zionist regime forces raid Gaza's biggest hospital. News from the foreign front when we return. Following days of constant heavy attacks on Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital, the Zionist regime forces have raided the complex on Wednesday, where thousands of Palestinians are sheltering. Dozens of Israeli soldiers entered the facility while tanks were stationed in the yard of the medical complex, filled with 7,500 Palestinians, including patients, doctors and displaced people. According to sources inside Al-Shifa, the soldiers were using loudspeakers and ordering young men to surrender themselves. About 30 people were reportedly taken out into the courtyard, stripped of their clothes, blindfolded and interrogated by the ruthless Israeli soldiers. The Zionist army had also blown up a warehouse of medicine and medical devices. Since the start of the Zionist bombardments, more than 11,200 people have been killed, including more than 4,600 children. Global calls for a humanitarian ceasefire have mounted in recent days, and the fate of Al-Shifa, Gaza's biggest hospital, has become a focus of international alarm because of worsening conditions in the facility. A doctor in the hospital said on Wednesday that gunfire forced staff to stay away from windows for their safety as the Zionist regime forces began raiding the complex, filled with thousands of patients, medical staff and displaced people.
One of the big tanks entered within the hospital from the eastern main gate, and they just parked in the front of the hospital emergency department. So within the hospital area, the shooting, the bombardments, all kinds of weapons were used around the hospital, and they targeted the hospital directly. The other thing is we can't look through the windows or doors. We don't know what's happening. We can hear tanks moving within the hospital. We can hear continuous shooting as we have now. But again, it's totally scary situation.
In India, at least 38 people have been killed while 18 others were injured on Wednesday after a bus carrying passengers skidded off the road and fell into a 300-foot gorge in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda district. The bus, carrying 55 passengers, was travelling from Kishwar to Jammu when the incident happened. The vehicle deviated from the road and plunged down the steep slope near Trungal in the Asar area. The injured were being shifted to the government medical colleges in Doda and Jammu, and all possible help was being provided. Investigations are underway to determine the cause of the accident. China claims to have launched the world's first ultra-high-speed next-generation internet backbone with a bandwidth of 1.2 terabits per second. The project, jointly developed by the Tsinghua University, China Mobile, Huawei and Cernet.com Corporation, boasts a total transmission network spanning more than 3,000 kilometers, linking the three cities of Beijing, Wuhan and Guangzhou. Since its trial operation on July 31st this year, the internet backbone has reportedly been running stably and reliably, successfully passing various tests. The next-generation internet backbone is operated based on China's domestically owned key technologies, with both the software and hardware made by locals. In August, China made waves when it released a 5G smartphone with a sophisticated made-in-China processor, sparking debate in the United States about whether the Biden administration has gone far enough in attempts to contain Chinese technological achievements. now, focusing on badminton and the 2023 Japan Masters. Malaysia's #1 men's doubles, Aaron Chia, So Woo Yik, clinched a convincing victory against Taiwan's Li Yang Wang Chi Lin to advance to the second round. The national duo exhibited dominant play, facing no challenges and winning in straight sets, 21-18, 21-14. The pair will next face Akira Koga, Taichi Saito of Japan to secure the quarter-final spot. In the mixed doubles, 8-seeded Cheng Tan-ji, Toh Yi-wei outclassed Taiwan's Wei Chun-wei, Nicole Gonzalez-Chan 21-11, 21-10 in just 25 minutes. The win earned them a match against compatriot Goh Soon-Huat, Shevin Lai in the next round, who earlier defeated Scotland's Adam Hall and Julie McPherson 21-11, 21-11. Another national mixed doubles, Tan Kian Meng, Lai Pei Jing, meanwhile, claimed a hard-fought 20-22, 21-13, 21-15 victory over Taiwan's Chen Zirei, Yang Qing-chun, securing a clash against South Korea's Kim Won-ho, Jung Na-yoon. In the men's singles event, national young shuttler Ng Ziyong advanced to the second round after downing Taiwan's Wang Zuwei in straight sets 21-12, 21-11. World number 15 Ziyong will, however, face a tall order as he will be up against the world number 1 Victor Axelsen of Denmark next. Another national hope, Lee Zijia, crashed out in the first round after losing against Denmark's Anders Antonsen. Failing short in the first set, 18-21, Zijia fought back in the second set, but his dream was shattered when the Danish sealed a 22-20 victory. When Nightline returns, woman charged with murder of business partner.
Marang State.
Has seized over 180,000 units of unregistered silicone adhesive tapes and lens cleaning solutions estimated to be worth 500,000 ringgit. In an operation on November 8th, the MDA conducted a raid on 2 companies operating in Kuala Lumpur suspected of importing and distributing unregistered adhesive tapes and various brands of unregistered lens cleaning solutions.
Produk ini adalah daripada China. Yang serbuan terbaru ni kebanyakannya adalah daripada China. Ni adalah di kontak lens ni adalah daripada Korea. Sekiranya disabit kesalahan, syarikat ini akan dikenakan denda tidak melebihi RM200,000 atau dipenjarakan selama tempoh tidak melebihi 3 tahun atau kedua-duanya.
Both companies violated the Medical Device Act by importing and placing unregistered medical devices in the market. One of the companies was found to violate the same act by importing and placing medical devices in the market without holding a valid establishment license. The operation involved 19 MDA enforcement officers and 15 officers from the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry. In Terengganu, a woman was charged in the Marang Magistrates Court with the murder of her business partner. The accused, Noraini Remali, aged 35, nodded after the charge was read out to her before Magistrate Zur Azurin Zainal Kifli. No plea was recorded as the case is under the jurisdiction of the High Court. She was charged with murdering 65-year-old Nurzihan Abdul Karim in Kuala Berang near Hulu, Terengganu between 3:20 a.m. and 4 a.m. on November 1st. The charge under the Penal Code provides the death penalty upon conviction. The court set January 15th next year for mention pending the chemist report. Now, they say a picture paints 1,000 words, and nobody knows this better than Abdul Hadi Ahmed, a portrait artist. He focuses mostly on painting the portraits of Malaysia's famous politicians, public figures and royalty. FMT's Divya Ragu met up with Hadi at his base in Central Market, Kuala Lumpur.
Meet 54-year-old Abdul Hadi Haji Ahmed, the artist behind the country's most iconic portraits. A long-standing presence here at Central Market, Hadi specializes in creating lifelike paintings of Malaysia's most prominent figures. Originally from Kelantan but raised in Gombak, Hadi has made quite the name for himself over the past 40 years, with his paintings of Malaysia's leaders gracing the walls of government buildings as well as palaces all over the country. Initially captivated by facial expressions, young Hadi decided to channel his inner patriotism through his paintbrush.
Permulaan saya minat bentuk wajah sebab dalam wajah tu berbagai kita boleh gambarkan cerita dia dalam wajah tu. Saya fikirkan baik saya expose pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara yang mereka korbankan demi rakyat Malaysia, iaitu termasuk saya lah. Sebabnya saya fikir amat menghargai mereka. Tanpa mereka sukar kita boleh hidup capai rasa sampai sekarang. Itulah main yang saya fokus wajah politik Malaysia.
He also shared that his location at Central Market, where he has been based since 1987, has played a pivotal role in his career.
Lebih kurang banyak kan pelancong-pelancong luar negara kunjung ke sini. Jadi lebih baiklah saya exposekan wajah-wajah ini termasuk sekali kan, supaya mereka lebih kenal wajah-wajah pemimpin negara kita.
When asked how he acquired his remarkable skill, he said it was a natural process, largely stemming from his imagination. Using soft pastels on paper and oil paint on canvas, Hadi continues to create near-flawless paintings. Although highly accomplished, the artist still believes that his skill in painting is far from perfect.
Nak cerita pasal tamat tu tak mungkin, lukis tak akan tamat, tak akan sampai ke hujung. Usia kita pun lebih tinggi pun 60 tahun kan. Kajian dalam art ni sangat jauh, sangat luas. 60 tahun tak cukup bagi saya.
Despite the era of photographs and cameras, artists like Hadi are bent on preserving the tradition of portrait painting while keeping the country's iconic figures alive. Divya Ragu, FMT Lifestyle for Nightline.
it's been over 60 years since James Bond first hit the screens. Before we leave, let's take a look as the Royal Mint in the United Kingdom unveiled a new range of coins to commemorate 6 decades of the iconic secret agent. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.